Shark Nation, welcome back. Today we have a quad meet with our LIU Sharks, Brown, Cornell, and Penn. So excited to be back here, Paris. How are you feeling about this Sharks team today?
I'm feeling good as always. I'm very excited for today's competition. LIU would definitely have some good teams that they are facing today. So it's going to be good to see how they can stand against the Ivy League competition.
Yes, we have almost an Ivy League competition except for LIU, but LIU is equally as strong as the other three schools we have out here. LIU, they're beam. They are such a strong beam team, so I'm excited to see them up there and just hit all 6 routines. Where they have to put it together is bars. They just need to hit.
You know, and I was going to say, I'm actually more excited to see their bars. We spoke to Coach Randy prior to the competition, and he said that they had a really big goal on hitting 6 for 6 in practice, and they did just that. So I'm hoping that they can do the same here at today's competition, and if they do, it's going to be a great competition for them.
I agree. They're fully capable of hitting those 6 for 6. As Coach Randy said, that they did it in practice. So it would be nice to see them just put it together and get back to that 195. The beginning of the year, their first meet of the season, they hit a 195.225. So they are fully capable of getting those higher scores and just dominating.
And again, as you just said, LIU posted earlier in the season a big 195. That is a score that they're going to want to, in some way, shape, or form, reach in this competition, especially with Penn here. Penn is a team that regularly scores in the 195 range, and they beat West Virginia in the opening meet of the season. So again, they are the reigning GEC champions, and we are going to see some big gymnastics today.
I agree. We're going to have LIU starting on the vault today. Over on the bars will be Cornell. On the beam will be Penn, and floor exercise will be Brown. Today is also our Sharks' pink meet. So you're going to see a lot of pink going throughout Pratt Center today. The pink is for breast cancer awareness. The Sharks really want to bring awareness to that and help to just continue the growth that we see here.
And I have to say, theme meets back when I was a gymnast were so fun. It's one thing to be for a cause, but it's another thing when you're able to live it out and what you do. And to see these gymnasts out here with their pink, whether it's their pink bows, their pink face stickers, or their pink leotards, I love the celebration. I love the union that this meet has brought out tonight.
I agree. Some gymnasts to look out for. LIU had Elena Danichenko become the 3rd LIU gymnast to earn an Eagle Rookie of the Week honors, right behind a few of her friends, Brisa Carrero and Kate Parks, who also won the honors this year. So that's pretty exciting. Like to continue with that tradition this year.
Absolutely.
Also, Skylar Kiriko from UPenn will be competing in the all-around. She is definitely one to watch. She has been putting up some top scores on the vault and bars exercises.
She has some big gymnastics that we're going to see today. I saw her compete against Yale, and she definitely put on a good show.
And for Brown, Jessica Lynn put up a huge 9-9 on the balance beam at their last meet, and Julia Bedell a 9.925 on the floor exercise. So I'll be excited to watch them as well.
And you know what? Another exciting floor exercise routine comes from Maya Davis for Brown. Maya, if I'm not mistaken, choreographed her own routine.
Wow.
Last year, her routine was my favorite of the season. And this is my first time being able to see her compete live this year. So I'm very excited to see what she delivers today on the floor.
That concludes your touch, athletes. Judges, let the competition begin.
The opening warm-ups has concluded and the competition is set to be underway. Starting things off on vault for LIU will be Alina Danilchenko.
Our Eagle Rookie of the Week.
And getting things underway on the uneven bars for Cornell will be Melanie Stone.
On balance beam for UPenn, we'll see Samantha Wu. And the floor exercise, Lauren Kramer for Brown.
That was a beautiful ganger by Melanie on the bars and a strong start for Cornell.
Little hop on that landing, but very strong start.
That ganger that she performed just floats in the air.
Samantha Wu starting her beam routine. Penn will be looking to start off with strong balance beam situation here. Front aerial to a beat jump. Solid series. Still waiting for LIU to get started on the vault, but they've been a pretty solid vault team this year.
Yeah, the Sharks have definitely performed very well on the vault. It's been one of their highest scoring events as a team.
Yes, in their last meet, they scored a 48.775.
Small step on that vault, but again, a good start for the Sharks. She did have a bit of a wait. So it's good that she was able to really put that vault to her feet. Strong block off, nice tight twist, and finds that landing.
Next up on floor will be Angela Zing.
Finally up for Cornell on the bars is Natalia Taharani. And another huge ganger release move. The Cornell Bears just love flying high on the bars.
Looking for the dismount.
And a gorgeous double layout dismount to a stuck landing.
I love when a double layout just floats in the air and lands. Not one of those like zinging to the ground. That was a beautiful double layout.
And I have to say the giants that she swings leading up to the double layout were so controlled, so beautifully paced. It just, again, as you said, floats that dismount. Up next on vault for LIU will be Annalisa Page.
Up next for UPenn on the balance beam will be Anna Kennefic.
And the big vault for Annalisa. Second up on vault for LIU. Up over on bars for Cornell is the only all-around gymnast for the team, Sydney Bears.
Triple series for Anna. Very nice, strong landing.
And a strong finish on bars for Cornell. Cornell, they are really putting up some big routines over on the bars.
Angela preparing for her last pass. Beautiful 1.5 dismount from Anna UPenn on the balance beam to finish off. What a strong beam routine.
And on vault for LIU is Sid Morris. Yurchenko. And a beautiful Yurchenko full.
She always goes for that stick. I
does.
love the determination so much. A little break in those hips, but she holds on every time.
She does, holds on. Again, vault has been a strong event for LIU this season.
Yes, they are consistently having those higher start values, which I know was one of Coach Randy's goals for this season. And it makes a difference.
They have definitely improved since last season. So upgrading those vaults is definitely one of the goals that LIU has hit coming into the season. Getting ready to salute for Cornell on the bars will be Addie Ralstein.
A little short on that handstand.
And another ganger. This team is just full of gangers, the ganger team.
I actually competed a ganger, and it was one of my favorite skills. And beautiful double layout.
Beautiful double layout.
Next up on the balance beam for UPenn is Campbell Marr. Campbell has a high score of a 9.95.
And another huge ball for LIU by Elena Ricketts. Elena, she has such a beautiful twisting position in the air. She blocks off, she twists pencil straight. Textbook material.
I love Elena's gymnastics.
With just 2 more vaulters left of this rotation for LIU, this just might be the highest scoring vault rotation that the team has this season.
Up on the floor exercise for Brown is Lindsay Yang. Back handspring layout, step out. Campbell Marr was actually a first team all GEC on beam last year. So,
oh, she has exceptional lines.
yes. Deep jump, side aerial.
Back over on the uneven bars for Cornell is Morgan Shambo. Catches that bar a little too close, but she holds on.
One and a half front leg.
And a good finish for Shambo on the bars. Cornell, they are the team of the gangers and the team of the double layouts.
If it works, don't fix it, right?
And that was Lauren Miller for vault for LIU.
Yeah, it looks like she couldn't quite get onto the table.
Yeah, it looks like she got a little jammed on the horse, and unfortunately she couldn't get that momentum needed to compete the vault that she was supposed to compete, but nonetheless, she walked off, which is a good sign.
So LIU will be hoping to drop that score. And they'll have one more to go on vault.
Getting ready to mount the bars for Cornell will be Josie Moulin. Josie will be the anchor for Cornell on the bars. And she will look to close out a strong rotation for the Bears.
There's a 9-8 on the floor exercise for Lindsay Yang. And next up will be Maya Davis for Brown. And a 9.85 for Campbell Marr on the balance beam. Well deserved. It was a beautiful routine. Going on the balance beam for UPenn, we now have Kirsten Belkoff, who went a 9.75 at their last meet. If she continues the trend for UPenn, the scores are only going up. Beautiful triple series, back handspring, layout, step out.
And a beautiful start from Miss Davis on the floor. It's very traditional that you hear fun music when it comes to floor exercise for girls college gymnastics, but she takes a different approach. But nonetheless, it is extremely captivating.
Her toe point is captivating. Bringing the artistic part into artistic gymnastics. Another strong beam routine for UPenn.
Maya Ogley has the entire attention from everyone in this arena.
Beautiful.
Such a beautiful routine for Miss Davis.
Stunning. She's stunning to watch. Very nice.
A beautiful vault by Kel Bixler to finish off for LIU. One of the more simpler vaults, but it was executed so beautifully. It will score well for the start value that the vault has.
Next up on the floor exercise for Brown is Lisa Marcus. Next up on the balance beam for UPenn, Alicia Werlin.
And here's the exhibition routine for Cornell on the bars by Maddie Zakalowski. Maddie's uneven bar routine won't count towards the team's overall total score, but by her exhibitioning, it simply gives her the experience that she will need for the time that her score does count towards the team's overall score.
Great start for Liza.
And a strong finish for Miss Maddie on the bars for Cornell.
Backhand spring. Oh. Alicia comes off the balance beam. Just couldn't save that. She was off from the start. Despite the fall from Alicia, she finished that beam routine strong with the 1.5 stick. When you fall, every wobble after that counts, especially when you still have teammates up to go.
For LIU and Cornell, their first rotation is officially over. LIU would now move on to the uneven bars, and Cornell will move on to the balance beam.
Up next on balance beam for UPenn is Skylar Kiriko. They're all-around gymnast, and Skylar has scored a 9.875 on this, so they'll be looking for that high score from her again. But it's not easy to go up after a fall. For Brown, we have Julia Bedell up on the floor exercise. Now, Julia scored a 9.925 on the floor exercise last week when they were out. Let's see if she can do it again. Brown up backhand spin full in to start. drawing in the crowd with her dance.
I was going to say a little change of tempo. Coach Harris is boogieing in this corner along with her team.
Oh, stay on. Oh, another fall for you, Penn, on the balance beam.
Oh, and that was a sky and double tuck on the floor. Now we see why she scored that big 9.925.
Wow, that was fantastic. Yes, you could definitely tell why Julia scores those high floor scores. She was fun, she was energetic, her tumbling was sky high.
Brown, they had such a strong first rotation on the floor, and it's just their first event. Traditionally, the scores do tend to raise a little later in competition, but I mean, all of these teams, they have put up some pretty big numbers in this first rotation.
You know, in quad meets, in a normal meet, you're either starting on vault or you're starting on bars, but in quad meets, you get a chance. I feel like it's a good opportunity to prepare for the postseason, because once in the postseason, you may start on beam or you may start on floor. I always enjoyed starting on floor because it just keeps your energy up. Get your blood flowing, it gets you moving.
Interesting. I think I'd love to start on the balance beam.
Yeah?
Yes.
I feel like the balance beam can go one of two ways.
I definitely understand the floor theory. For me, I was a floor vaulter. And when I had to lead off on vault, I'd only take like 7 steps to my Yurchenko. So if I was too nervous, one step was off and man, the vault, you were dropping it. So I think either floor or the balance beam will work for me.
All right, and UPenn will be having one more to go on floor from Carly Anoki. And also Brown will have one more to go from Asta Solija Farrell. And UPenn will have one more on the balance beam.
Oh, beautiful opening pass. Oh, and another good second pass. I think Beyonce would approve of this floor routine so far.
Well, these exhibition spots are always so important throughout the season because it really gives you get the chance to prove to your coaches that you're ready, you're game ready.
And you never know when you have to be ready to step in competition. So the exhibition spot is very important.
Great and energetic routine into that last pass. Unfortunately, landed a little weird. Trainer's gonna come out and look at her. On beam, we have Carly Anoki going up. And unfortunately, Carly had a fall. But she finished strong. And that concludes our first round and our first rotation. Brown will finish out with a bar score of a 49.25. So that was a great bar score for Brown. LIU in second place with a 48.45. Cornell, 48.3. And UPenn in fourth with a 48.025. Before we transition, we'd like to thank a couple sponsors, give a little shout out. We'd like to thank LIU Gymnastics sponsor National Event Connection, your full service event partner for any occasion. Be sure to check out nationaleventconnection.com to see if they can help you with your next event. All right, LIU will be moving to bars. Like we said before, we are so excited to see LIU just put it together. They were able to do it in practice as we talked to Coach Randy. So he wants them to go out there, feel confident, and just show off what they can do.
The bars has been the nemesis for this team. Will LIU finally put it all together? We shall see in the second rotation.
This LIU team they're really supportive of each other, which is so key. So I feel like they will. They'll get there, at least by postseason. They're going to put it together, be able to put together a full meet, and get back to that 195 that they are capable of getting.
Hi, I'm Ella Barrington and I'm a senior on the LIU Women's Gymnastics team. I would say that the program is very close-knit and family-like. We spend the majority of our time together. We ride the bus to practice together. We eat lunch and dinner and sometimes breakfast together. We go bowling together. We go to ropes courses together. We just really love spending time with each other, and that really helps us in competition. Thank you so much for listening. Go Sharks.
Hi, my name is Gail Bixler and I'm a senior on LIU Gymnastics. I've been here for 4 years now and I can truly say I've grown as a person, both as a student, athlete, and an individual. Coming into freshman year, I had little to no self-confidence. I struggled a lot on bars and I was very shy, and Randy just told me, believe in myself and one day you'll be in lineup, and 4 years later I am now. My confidence has really grown over the years in my beam, in my bars, and just as a person in school. I can't wait to see what the future holds for me, and thank you so much, LIU. Go Sharks.
All right, moving on to our next rotation. Before we want to give another shout out, we'd like to thank LIU Gymnastics sponsor Goody Bagels, the beloved bagel store that has been a neighborhood staple for over 30 years. Thanks, Goody Bagels. In New York, you have to have a good bagel sponsor.
You have to. It's not New York without, you know what? I actually have one on my way here.
From Goody Bagels?
Bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh.
That's a New York staple. Heading into this rotation, I am very excited for floor. The Quakers have some very fun routines coming up.
Yes, we have our all-arounder against Skylar Kiriko. She is just a standout for this team. Also, Anna Kenneflick recorded a career high mark of a 9.85 in her last meet, so I expect to see some big gymnastics from UPenn on floor. And Cornell's coming off a strong bar rotation, putting them in first place currently with that 49.2, which is great score to start
Great
out.
score.
So if they can keep that momentum going on the balance beam, put up 6 for 6.
Marissa, for the Quakers, that is a routine that I'm dying to see. She competed against Yale earlier this month, and man, she had everyone on their feet. Excited to see her perform. She reminds me, as I once said, of the LSU gymnast, Lauren Mansfield Hall. I grew up watching Lauren Mansfield.
That was a fun routine to watch.
You know, I feel like I'm watching it all over again. So that's definitely going to be a fun routine that I'm very excited to watch.
Yes, Marissa and also Emma Davis.
Yes.
In their last meet went 9.875.
And with the way the floor scores have been going, we might see a pair of 9.9s. More 9.9s.
I'd love to see a 10 today. You think
know,
that could happen?
You know, I think it could happen. I definitely see some 10-0 routines coming from each and every one of these schools. So I definitely believe it can happen. And as we conclude our warm-up for the second rotation, LIU will start things off with Logan Henson on the bars. And Brown will get things started on vault with Jessica Lynn.
Up on the balance beam for Cornell, Regina Walton is currently going. Back handspring, layout, step out, beautiful landing, very floating in the air. Up first on the floor exercise, we have Zara Gazdak.
And a very beautiful vault from Jessica Lynn to start things off. A simple Yurchenko layout, but it's done very well. Executed well. She takes a small step. Good start for Brown.
Great start for Cornell on the balance beam. They just have a momentum going, and it looks like it's going to continue on the balance beam.
And here we are on bars with Logan, a beautiful.
Had to take an extra swing after that release move, but we're on the bar. Strong first pass. And double back.
And a good finish for LIU. No falls, so hey, they're already starting off with great momentum. On vault, that was Lauren Kramer who got things building for Brown. You know, I have to say, having two bears in competition today, it is a mouthful. You have the Cornell Bears, the Brown Bears.
I agree. It gets a little confusing.
We even have a UCLA Bruin Bear on the mic. All these bears in competition. I'm scared.
Who knew a bear was such a great mascot?
And a beautiful double pipe to finish with on the floor. UPenn, they are starting things off strong in this second rotation. And a good vault by Angela Zing. The Bears, they are keeping that momentum that they build from the floor exercise, transferring it onto the vault.
Up next on the balance beam for Cornell, we have Melanie Stone. On the floor exercise for UPenn, Anna Kennefleck.
Getting things underway on bars for LIU is Sid Morris. Beautiful pike, Jaeger. Transitions to that low bar. Sid was later in the lineup at LIU's last home meet, but now she is earlier in the lineup, and she seems to be performing even better. And a great finish on the uneven bars from Morris. They are one of my favorite shark gymnasts to watch.
You know, sometimes it is better to put your more consistent gymnasts a little bit higher in the lineup to build that momentum, and then your teammates will feed off it. And I think Sid really has that consistency that the Sharks are looking for.
Yes.
And hopefully this Shark team will start to feed off that energy and that consistency to just nail in those bar routines.
And again, they are the perfect gymnasts to do that with. Sid, they have such a maturity in their gymnastics. And they definitely have the maturity that you want your team to follow after. And closing things out for the Brown Bears on vault will be Julia Bedell.
And Julia had that beautiful floor routine and a great Yurchenko full vault.
Takes a small hop on that landing, but she gets so much amplitude off the table. One of the best vaults that we've seen today.
Yeah, such a strong gymnast with 9.925 on the floor exercise, and that will be another great score for Brown. Unfortunately, Cornell had a fall from Melanie on the balance beam, so they'll be hoping to drop that score. Adabelle Wright will be up next for the Cornell Bears. Bring that consistency back up for them.
Getting ready to mount the bars for LIU will be Kara Sanchez. Kara's gonna continue that momentum that LIU is trying to build on the bars. Their goal is to go 6 for 6 on this event. And they can definitely do it.
Next up on the floor exercise for UPenn is Skylar Kiriko, our all-around gymnast. She scored a 9.825 in her last outing.
Oh, and a strong start for Miss Sanchez on the bars.
A little close on that. Really close
On that pack salt.
on the pack salted down to the low bar.
Little
But
flat.
she holds on to it.
And that's what's most important for LIU, to stay on the bars. No matter what, stay on.
I think if this LIU team can stay on the bar, they're going to start building that confidence and momentum to really just gradually increase those scores, one meet at a time. Skylar starting on the floor.
Up next for LIU on the bars would be Brisa Carrero. She has a huge uneven bar routine, and she can score big for LIU if she puts it all together.
Round up by handspring double tuck.
Beautiful finish.
Great comeback after an unfortunate beam rotation for Skylar. She'll be happy with that floor routine.
Here's Miss Brisa on bars for LIU. Beautiful.
Oh, that was
textbook.
beautiful.
From her form to her release move. Great open shoulder, beautiful toe point.
Double back on her feet with a stick.
That is going to score big for LIU. Mark my words, she is going to be the next gymnast to score that perfect 10 for the Sharks on the uneven bars. A phenomenal routine.
Up next on the balance beam for Cornell is Natalia Tirani. A long wait as the judges are in talks about the previous score.
And weights are not easy to follow after.
No,
Sometimes-
especially on the balance beam. The judges are getting up to talk now. All right, it looks like they have it sorted out now, and Natalia will get started. Like we said, it's not easy to go up after a start value mishap.
Up next for LIU on the bars would be Kel Bixler. Kel is another gymnast who is so beautiful on this event.
Great combination.
Again, beautiful extension in the arms, amazing toe point, nice blindfold to double tuck dismount. She holds on to it. Almost looked as if she pinged off the bar, but again, she holds on to that dismount and she finds her feet.
Still waiting on the floor exercises. Up next on the floor exercise for UPenn will be Sarah Kenefick. Great routine from Natalia. Cornell will be happy with that one. They'll be hoping to drop one of the falls. On bars, Barisa Carrero went 9.825. LIU building momentum. Just as Coach Randy had said, you know, we're hoping if we put Sid a little bit higher up, we can build that momentum to build our confidence.
Closing things out on the bars for LIU will be Annalisa Page. Hey, she finds her feet in that dismount. Miss Page, she concludes a 6-up, 6-hit rotation
six
for
for
LIU.
six?
That's 6 for 6.
There we go. LIU back in the game.
Oh, and a beautiful pass on the floor.
Great routine from Sarah.
Strong finish.
Next up on the balance beam, Sydney Beers. Sydney is Cornell's lone all-arounder. Sydney in her last outing went 9.7.
Oh, beautiful combination. Front toss to beat jump.
And Sydney's actually from Belmore, New York, so I bet she's got a strong audience here watching her. Not too far away from LIU. It's always fun when your family can come and watch you.
Oh,
nice.
a big routine for Cornell on the beam.
Coach Randy will be happy with that bar rotation. Getting close, inching closer and closer to that 49. They went 48.7.
Now here's that floor routine that I talked about for the Quakers.
Yes, Marissa Lister up. Paris has been waiting all night for this one.
I have. But the music to the choreography, I kind of want to just get out there and join her.
Go for it.
I can still hit a double A.
Sidelines.
Marissa, she has her whole team dancing with her, doing her exact front choreography.
Finishing pass, rounded by handspring, double pike.
Just floats that double pike.
Yeah, she has extra energy to continue.
You can see that power in her legs.
Beautiful leaps.
Oh, and that signature butt drop.
Very nice.
You know, I've actually tried that once, and it didn't look like that.
You had one of those in your routine?
Maybe.
Last up on balance beam for Cornell is Michaela Burton.
Oh, and that was such a beautiful combination, such a difficult combination that she came off of. She's another gymnast that has exceptional lines, and she exudes and shows them off on this event.
Front toss speed jump. Beautiful, such poise up there on the balance beam. Round off 1.5. Oh, almost held on to that stick. Step to the side, but a great finish for Cornell. They will unfortunately have to count a fall, but the rest of the routines, beautiful. Energy is high with Shark Nation.
Yes.
They are excited after that bar rotation. They are moving on to one of their strongest events next, balance beam. Up on floor for UPenn is Emma Davis, another strong tumbler, great routine. She scored a 9.875 in her last outing. She over-rotating that double pike.
strong finish.
Great routine from Emma Davis. And that will close out UPenn's floor lineup. We'll possibly see an exhibition. But a strong floor rotation for UPenn. That will definitely move UPenn up the ranks after their rough beam rotation. And we will be seeing an exhibition from UPenn from Reagan Chang. Like we said before, these exhibitions are so important to get in during the regular season to prove to your coaches that you can be put in and be prepared for that postseason.
And although the Quakers do have a very strong line on the floor exercise, there is still room to break in. So Miss Reagan definitely has the opportunity to break in this lineup. And if she performs well here, we just might see her in lineup next week.
Yes, and also just being an alternate as well. Like, you want to get that experience out there and competing, but to make sure you are prepared. Brown is still holding that top spot with after 2 rotations with a 97.9. UPenn coming in right behind them at a 97.25. LIU moves into 3rd with a 97.15, and Cornell into 4th place with a 95.7. Brown really holding that top spot strong with that huge floor rotation they had.
And a good routine from Reagan on floor. Two rotations down, only 2 more to go. Still lots of gymnastics left.
Lots of great gymnastics. We'd like to thank another LIU sponsor, the Hilton Garden Inn of Roslyn. Proud sponsor of LIU Gymnastics and LIU Athletics. Thanks, Hilton Garden Inn of Roslyn. Will be moving to their 3rd rotation. We have Brown in the lead with a 97.9. UPenn right behind them with a 97.25. LIU taking 3rd place currently with a 97.15. And Cornell in 4th with a 95.7. Highlights from that last rotation.
Hi, it's Jack Quinn.
LIU hitting 6 for 6 on bars. That's been one of their goals since the first meet, is to just go up there, hit 6 for 6. They told Coach Randy they're not leaving practice till they do it, and they did it. And they came out here and showed him that they are capable of getting back in the game and hitting those bar routines. Currently on vault, our top spot has Alana Ricketts with that 9.8.25. On the uneven bars, Marisa Correa from LIU is taking the top spot with a 9.825. On the balance beam, Campbell Marr from UPenn with a 9.85. And on floor, Julia Bedell with that amazing routine with a 9.925. That routine was just spot on. But there's still a lot of gymnastics left. We're only halfway through. We have LIU taking over the beam, one of their strongest events. They almost always go into those 49,
Yeah.
break the 49 mark. So I expect to see that again from them. We have Cornell on the floor exercise. UPenn has moved to the vault, and Brown on the uneven bars.
Brown, they can definitely swing big on this event. They are very clean, and we're going to see some exciting release moves from this team. On vault for the Quakers, they definitely have some strong vaults that we're going to see.
We have another shout out. The LIU Athletic Department thanks the Schwartz Institute for providing quality sports medicine and sports performance services to our student athletes. The Schwartz Institute provides quality physical therapy services for athletes and non-athletes alike at locations in Massapequa and Huntington. For more information, visit longislandphysicaltherapy.com.
Senior on the LIU gymnastics team. I'm a bio major here on the pre-med track, and I hope to go to med school and be a radiologist one day. I just took the MCAT, which is the first step in making my dreams come true. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of this program because it has taught me many things, such as dedication, how to make decisions, and most importantly, communication. I hope to see you guys at our meets this year. Thanks for listening to my story. Go Sharks.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Miller and I'm a senior on the LIU gymnastics team. As a growing program, we've had the special opportunity to create our culture from the ground up. We have focused on values such as growth and unity, and each year we have gotten better. I can't wait to see what future LIU gymnastics teams do. Thanks for listening to my story. Go Sharks!
And we are back with UPenn starting things off with Isabel Song, and Brown getting things started on bars with Sophia Dewar.
On the floor exercise, Michaela DeFrancisco up for Cornell. Starting off strong with a round up by handspring double back. Up on the balance beam for LIU, Kale Bixler. Kale's really been a strong starting beamer for this team, setting the tone.
That was a good vault from Miss Song over for UPenn.
Beautiful triple series from Kale.
Oh, and on bars, she comes off on her first move just a little too casted over in that handstand.
Oh, not the way Brown's wanting to start off, especially since they have that slight lead right now. They want to stay consistent through to the end. Strong first routine.
And the beautiful
for
gangle.
Cornell.
A little close on that release. She caught it so beautifully in warm-up.
Awesome finish for Kale.
And a sky and dismount on bars. Again, not the best start for Brown, but they definitely have more routines. So that means that each and every gymnast that goes up just simply needs to do their job.
Yeah, so they'll be hoping to drop that score and kind of start fresh.
Up next on vault for UPenn will be McKenna Wiener.
Next on the floor exercise for Cornell will be Cammie Whitaker. Oh, beautiful, Yurchenko full.
Yes.
Little piked hips on the landing.
Got a little stuck in the air, but she does block off fairly well.
Next up on the balance beam for the Sharks, Alana Daninchenko.
That was a good vault from Miss Sarah Kennefic for UPenn with Zara Gazdak to follow.
Elena earned top rookie awards for the Eagles. She's a film major from Orlando. She scored a 9.8 on the balance beam at the Empire State Collegiate Challenge.
Oh, and another big ganger on the bars by McKenna. Just a moment ago, I announced McKenna on the vault, but she's actually performing on the bars for Brown. A little stuck in that blindfold, but she pulls it around for a good dismount.
Cammie Whitaker taking the floor. Went out of bounds on that first pass, just had so much extra energy.
And a good vault for Zara Gazdak on vault, who performed after Sarah Kennefic.
Beautiful front aerial beat jump. Gearing up for the dismount. Round off double, excuse me. Beam rotation is really where LIU shines.
Up next on bars for Brown will be Liza Marcus. And a beautiful vault by Skylar Carrico for UPenn, the only all-around gymnast for the Quakers that we will see today in competition. This is a strong routine by Miss Marcus on the bars. Oh, and another overshoot on that handstand. That was such a good routine for Brown. Again,
so
she was
unfortunate.
just a little loose in the hips.
Yeah, she was doing
Needed
so
to
great.
push down a little more on the bar to fight against that, but a strong finish nonetheless. Again, that's 2 falls for Brown now, so they're really going to want to put up some big numbers following up.
Up next on the balance beam for LIU, Katie Bills McCoy.
Up next on vault for UPenn would be Jordan Barrow.
Wow.
Oh, and a gorgeous vault by Miss Barrow.
The distance, she got height and distance on that one.
She's so clean in the air. She doesn't need to pike down. She blocks off. She's patient. Tight twist in the air. Straight, tight body. That is the type of Yurchenko that you want on your team.
Yes, that's going to be the highest score we've seen
That was
so
huge.
far. Taking the floor, we have Josie Moylan from Cornell.
Over on bars for Brown will be Lauren McCown.
Oh, small wobble on that cartwheel. Just the dismount. Another strong routine for the Sharks. Wow, beautiful. Your takeoff layout half for you,
Beautiful.
Penn.
Miss Kirsten Belkoff, a strong vaulter for the Quakers.
Yeah, so they're really getting very dynamic, and the height and the distance for UPenn is just very strong.
And that was a big routine on bars for Brown by Lauren McCown. Lauren is such an exceptional gymnast on the bars. She has exquisite lines, beautiful toe point. That's definitely going to score big for Brown.
Double pike to finish for Josie. Great routine for Cornell.
Closing things out for the Quakers is going to be Emma Davies in the exhibition spot. There's Emma getting things underway. And another strong vault. 7 up, 7 strong vaults for UPenn in this rotation. Up next on bars for the Bears is Maya Brown. Maya is another gymnast who has beautiful lines on this event.
Next up on the balance beam for LIU, Brisa Carrero. She is just stunning to watch on the balance beam. And we have Sydney Beers up on floor for Cornell, our all-rounder.
A huge routine for Miss Davis on the bars for Brown. That is a routine that they needed after the falls that they had over on the balance beam. That was such an amazing mount. Very rarely do you see a mount like that in college gymnastics.
Yeah. Sydney led Cornell in their last meet with a 9.8 on the floor exercise. Excuse me, 9.85. Front through to a double pike. Beautiful. Just stays inbound. Round off 1.5. LIU is really trying to go for those sticks on bounce beam. They look a little tight, having some small wobbles that they don't usually have, but nonetheless staying on.
Up next on bars for the Bears will be Sofia Zukalowski. Miss Sokolowski will be closing things out for the Bears, and she's gonna want to get a big routine, and looks like she did 2 kicks, so that may have been.
Yes, it looks like she had to repeat the kick to a handstand. Didn't have enough momentum to get into her release move. I would take that over a fall. So there will be some start value
Changes with that one. The Bears had a little trouble in this rotation on the bars, but they are moving on to the balance beam. So they are going to want to continue to just stay focused, heading over to the 4-inch wide wooden event.
Yeah, and that was a strong routine from Sydney Beers, Cornell's all-arounder. Wow, 9.925 for Sydney Beers. I believe that will be a career high for Sydney. Up on the balance beam for LIU is Sid Morris.
And they are great at this event.
Yes, Sid is a phenomenal beam worker. Again, always so consistent. Now up on floor for Cornell, Caitlin Walsh. Caitlin will be following that 9.925 from Sydney Beers. Switch leap, beautiful pike jump. They get such height, keeping their feet together. Back handspring layout, step out, solid. Final pass for Caitlin, double pike.
Oh, just
So much
over-rotates a
power,
little too much.
over rotates.
Very difficult side semi from Sid on the beam. And another difficult side jump.
Just gearing up for the dismount.
And she finishes with the gorgeous double twist. Let's see if she can stick like she did in warm-up.
with the
And she
stick.
does. Oh.
There's no doubt about that stick. LIU wanting the 10.
I think this might be LIU's best meet of the season. I don't think they've had any major falls.
No. They are hitting routine after routine. I don't think the judges are going to give it a 10, but it's going to be close.
Looks like one judge already has her number ready.
The anticipation.
And it will be a 9.925. So again, just shy of that perfect 10.
I think we're going to see it from Sid this season. They are just so consistent on every event.
Finishing things out for LIU will be Elena Ricketts. And she has a big balance beam routine. This is a gymnast that can definitely score that perfect 10.
Elena just has such beautiful lines in everything she does. All the way from her fingertips to her toe point. And last on floor for Cornell, Addie Rothstein. beautiful. She just floats. Switch leap into a split jump. Difficult combination. She makes it look so easy, but those switch leaps together are not an easy task to do.
I have to say though, she seems a little rattled on the beam. I've been seeing a bunch of uncharacteristic balance beam checks, but oh, look at that dismount. Back hands into a back 1.5. I don't think people even realize how difficult it is to twist a 1.5 from a tuck position. But she does it so effortlessly.
Yes, LIU, such a strong beam rotation for them, but they did have a couple uncharacteristic wobbles that they don't normally have. It'll still be a strong score for LIU. And they will have an exhibition routine from Maya Oberman. Maya trying to break into that beam, that strong beam lineup. It's going to be a tough task. That will conclude the floor exercise for Cornell, and they will be moving over to the vault.
Tight to keep that one on the beam.
LIU will be just shy of that 49 that they usually make on beam. Like we said, they had a lot of uncharacteristic wobbles. They were just so hyped from the bar rotation. Gotta let a little nerves come into the beam.
But the good thing is they move on to a floor exercise.
Yes.
So they can definitely let out any wobbles or nerves that they have on light event. Oh, and a very difficult jump. And hey, she saves it. Took a bit of a jump, but she keeps it on her feet.
It's always good to have someone who's prepared to go in at any time. All right. Our gymnasts will be moving to their final and fourth rotation before they start that 2-minute touch. We'd like to thank one of our sponsors, LIU Athletics. Thanks NYU Langone Health, the official medical service providers for Long Island University. Fans, you can receive the same level of expert care our student athletes receive at any NYU Langone location throughout Long Island, including their multi-specialty center, NYU Langone Ambulatory Care, Bethpage. So all right, moving to our final and fourth rotation, we'd like to have some more sponsor shout outs We'd like to thank LIU Gymnastics sponsor National Events Connection, your full-service event partner for any occasion. Be sure to check out nationaleventconnection.com to see if they can help you with your next event. In addition, we'd like to also thank LIU Gymnastics sponsor Goody Bagels, the beloved bagel store that has been a neighborhood staple for over 30 years. Thanks, Goody Bagels. Moving into our final rotation, LIU has taken that top spot with a 146.1. UPenn moving into second with a 145.975. Brown has moved into third place with a 144.925, and Cornell in fourth with a 143.75. LIU had such a strong beam rotation, hitting 6 for 6, as well as hitting their bar rotation, which was one of their big feats that they wanted to accomplish in this meet. After having a couple rough bar meets, they finally put it together. Now they're moving to the floor and just ready to have a floor party and finish out today strong. We have Cornell on the vault exercise, Brown on the balance beam, and UPenn finishing out on the uneven bars. All right, getting ready for our last and final rotation. Alana Ricketts still holding that top spot on vault. Barisa Carrero holding the top spot on the uneven bars with a 9.825. Sid Morris taking over the balance beam top spot with a 9.925. And Julie Bedell holding on to that top spot from Brown with a 9.925. One more rotation to go. A lot more fun gymnastics to watch. And if LIU can hit above a 49.8, they can make that 195 score again. So this needs to be a big rotation for them, and they can break that 195 like they did in their first meet of the season.
Getting things underway on vault would be Addie Rothstein for Cornell. And a good Yurchenko layout to open up with.
Up first for Brown on the balance beam will be Liza Marcus.
And getting ready to salute for UPenn on the uneven bars would be Isabel Song.
Up first on the floor exercise for the LIU Sharks, Elena Daninchenko. Beautiful back handspring layout step out.
Isabel's moving very well throughout this uneven bar routine.
Full in.
Oh,
Oh, over rotates
a little
it.
stumble on that dismount.
But a good start for you, Penn, on the uneven bars.
Up next on vault for Cornell will be Avery Beon.
Great start for Brown from Liza Marcus on the balance beam. Stuck 1.5 dismount.
Oh, and the stuck front handspring front half on the vault. That is a very difficult vault, different from the traditional Yurchenkos that we see. Those style vaults, you have to generate a certain type of power that you don't necessarily need for the Yurchenko. So that was a very difficult vault and beautifully done.
Up next on the balance beam for Brown, Lauren McCown. Final pass for Alina. Double pike, step forward. But a great start for the Sharks.
Up on bars is Sarah Kenfit. Oh, and a beautiful Takachi, a little close to that bar, but she was able to hold off. And she skies in that pack salto. Little leg separation, but she lifts off beautifully. And that move. Oh, and a unique dismount.
I love a twisting dismount off bars.
You don't see those too often, and she did it very well. Over on Buffalo Cornell, that was Talisa Brady, who unfortunately sat that one down. Hopefully Cornell can throw that score out.
Lauren McGowan up on beam. Beautiful series.
And a beautiful vault by Kimmy Whitaker.
Yurchenko tuck full.
Cleanly done, small step on that landing.
Up next on floor for LIU, Annalisa Page.
And up on bars for UPenn is Carly Oniki, who is currently swinging very well on the bars. And the beautiful double out dismount. Small step on that landing, but a great routine for UPenn. Up next on vault for Cornell is Michaela DeFrancisco. And a nice Yurchenko half twist. She does tuck her knees a little early. The judges will note that.
Annalisa getting ready for her second pass. Ground up back handspring, double tag, double tuck. Rather low score that Alina Danichenko received on the floor exercise at 9.675. So LA is going to hope to drop that if they would like to get into the 195s. Next up on the balance beam for Brown, Lauren Kramer.
And closing things out for Cornell on vault will be all-arounder Sydney Beers. Oh, and that was a beautiful vault. Yurchenko full twist to a stuck landing. I could watch that vault all day. That was gorgeous. Up on bars for UPenn, we have Zara Gazdak. And a good finish on bars for Miss Gazdak.
And a 9-9 for Sydney Beers on the vault from Cornell.
Absolutely well deserved. I mean, that vault was gorgeous. The block, the body position, lands perfectly in between the mat, stuck landing.
Agreed. She's just been beautiful to watch on every single event. No wonder she's an all-arounder. Great beam routine from Brown's Lauren Kramer. Brown holding strong on the beam rotation.
Up next on bars for UPenn would be Sophia Paris, who has beautiful lines on this event. She is one of the taller gymnasts. And while it might make doing gymnastics a little difficult, it makes watching it even more beautiful.
Now up on the floor for LIU, Lauren Miller.
Beautiful shoulder work on the bar.
Rather
double tuck, dismount.
Rather Kira Sanchez. Up, I can't spring double pike. Pulled that double pike around. Next up on the balance beam for Brown, Angela Zing.
Closing things out for UPenn on the bars would be their only all-arounder of the night, Skylar Carrico. Beautiful towards Kajiv. Skylar is so clean on this event.
Wow, great series. Layout 2 feet landing. You don't see that very often. Takes a step forward on that dismount bars, but Skylar,
Routine.
very clean throughout all of her gymnastics.
And Skylar concludes UPenn's competition of the evening.
Next up on the floor exercise for LIU Sharks, Sid Morris. Round off double twist dismount. Brown is hanging on there, fighting till the end. They have had a strong beam rotation so far.
And I love this routine by Sid on the floor. So fun to watch.
So fun.
It really exudes Sid's personality.
Agreed.
And I love it when a gymnast has choreography, music, theatrics that really matches who they are.
Round up back handspring double tuck.
Oh,
Just floats in the
gorgeous
air.
height.
Such height on those leaps. Front layout, front full. Final pass.
If they know this pass, this will score very well for LIU on the floor.
She is happy with that one. They are very happy.
I mean, I think that looks like a 9-9 routine.
Agreed. And that's what LIU needs to get back up into that 195 range. Next up for Brown on the balance beam, Jessica Lynn. UPenn will end their rotation on bars and end their meet with a 194.7. Cornell ends with a 192.4. So Brown and LIU will be fighting to get that top spot with that 190, trying to push the 194.7. And a 9-9 for Sid Morris. Next up is Ella Barrington on the floor exercise. Oh, she falls out of that, her triple turn. Double tuck.
And that was such a gorgeous routine.
Yeah, it's unfortunate she fell out of that first triple turn. I believe LIU is only going to put up five competitors on floor, so they will have to count Ella's score. And we'll put them right underneath Penn in second place. Oh, LIU's changing it up.
Looks like they're going to add Elena Ricketts.
They're adding Elena Ricketts to the roster. So now LIU has a chance to take over UPenn if Elena can score, I believe, a 9.8. Next up on the balance beam will be Lindsay Yang for Brown, their sixth competitor.
And this is just Elena's second time competing this floor routine at home here at LIU.
Yes, and she wasn't slated to do floor today. The last minute decision. Whip to a double tuck.
Oh, gorgeous pass.
Beautiful. Handspring layups about Lindsay Yang just hitting every skill left and right for Brown. Gainer dismount, amazing routine. Back handspring, double tuck.
Oh, and she stumbles back. Held on to that tuck a little too long.
Goes out of bounds, but that score should still bring them up a little bit higher. Not breaking that 195 mark, but bringing them up into second place, just behind UPenn. Waiting for that final scores to come in. LIU putting a full meet together. That concludes the competition. We'll give you some unofficial scores in just a moment.
Join us as we celebrate our seniors at the end of the competition.
Unofficially, looks like UPenn will take that top spot. LIU coming in second, Cornell in third, and Brown in fourth. Although waiting for our last score to come in. UPenn goes 194.7, LIU 194.525, Cornell 192.4, and Brown 192.15. Our top spot for vault will go to Sydney Beers from Cornell with a 9.9, a beautiful Yurchenko full. Bars, Barisa Carrero from LIU, 9.825. Beam, Sid Morris from LIU, 9.925. Floor, Julia Bedell from Brown with a 9.925. And all around will go to Sid Morris, LIU, 39.225 in second place. Sid Beers from Cornell, 39.2. And third place, Skyla Kiriko from UPenn with a 38.45. What a meet. LIU finally putting a bar rotation together.
So close to that 195 mark.
Yes, they will be back in the Pratt Center for the final meet. Senior night. Senior night will be LIU's first graduating class. Well, not their first graduating class. They graduated some seniors last year, but first graduating class from freshmen.
Wow.
These girls started out as freshmen and are now seniors. And how exciting is that?
You know, it's unbelievable
All
to
4
think
years.
that those 4 years flew past by that quickly.
They did. They really flew by. It's a really exciting moment for this program and they really have been growing every year. So we'll see you then. Have a good night.